Palki Sharma, the queen of spicy headlines, just dropped another explosive take: Xi Jinping courts global CEOs amid China's economic slowdown. Sounds like China's on the verge of collapse, right? That's exactly what she wants you to think. But let's break it down. She claimed she welcomed over 40 major CEOs, BMW, Samsung, Toyota, FedEx, desperate to win back foreign investment. According to her, this signals China's economy is crumbling. But here's the thing: this meeting happened during the China Development Forum, an annual event. Nothing unusual, no emergency damage control. Sharma even threw in a mysterious 0.3% profit drop for Chinese companies. But guess what? No official data supports this. Feels like it came straight out of a backyard conspiracy stash. Meanwhile, China's GDP grew by 5% in 2024, industrial output surged 6%, and exports climbed 5%. If that's a collapse, every country would love to be collapsing. But let's talk about what Sharma conveniently ignores: India. Since the start of 2024, India's stock market lost trillions of rupees as foreign investors fled. Yet, Indian media loves calling China the one in trouble. Let's be real, India's GDP barely crosses $4 trillion, while China stands near $20 trillion. Comparing the two is like an ant trying to wrestle an elephant. India also leads in something else: extreme poverty, pollution, and illiteracy. The world's biggest slums, trash mountains taller than buildings, and a river that's more famous for floating bodies than economic power. And yet, Sharma wants to pretend China's downfall will somehow boost India to superpower status. That's some next-level delusion. Now, let's talk foreign investment. If China were collapsing, why are the world's biggest business moguls still doubling down on it? In 2025 alone, Tim Cook was seen chilling in Beijing, chatting with Chinese officials. Samsung's Li Jiayong flew in, inking deals with BYD and Xiaomi. Elon Musk. Tesla's Shanghai factory still handles half of its global production, and they're pumping even more money into expansion. Apple pulled in $90 billion from China in 2024 alone. Meanwhile, what's happening in India? Samsung got slapped with a $600 million fine. Musk never even showed up despite 2 years of media hype. Foreign investors treat it like a graveyard, but Sharma's audience won't hear any of this because it doesn't fit the narrative. Instead, she pushes the tired script: China is doomed, India is rising. Reality? India isn't even in the race. Even on the global stage, China's influence overshadows India. The US treats China as its biggest strategic rival. Trump may have been blocked from talking to Xi in 2024, but he still brags about it like a badge of honor. Meanwhile, Modi had to push his way into a US visit, only to get hit with tariffs. Embarrassing, and yet, Indian media clings to fantasy, celebrating small diplomatic visits like they're game changers. When EU's Ursula von der Leyen visited Beijing in 2023, China barely cared. They didn't even send a senior official to meet her. But when she stopped by India, they hyped it like a global endorsement. So what's the real takeaway? Sharma's entire China collapse story is built on shaky ground. Even if China's economy stumbled, India wouldn't be next in line. It would still lag behind ASEAN, Mexico, Brazil, and others. The real issue? Indian media needs China to collapse because they have nothing else to sell. Instead of reporting facts, they're selling nationalist daydreams to an audience that wants to believe it. But a dream doesn't change reality. Bottom line: Sharma's obsession with China's downfall isn't just misleading, it's desperate. If India wants to be taken seriously, it needs to focus on fixing its own problems first. Our problems just keep growing in a geometric progression fashion, and the common multiplier is astronomical. Very first one which will forever hold back India to progress as a whole, and this is prevalent from 17th century or even before. The widening gap between Hindus and Muslims. Look, there are those extremist stupid groups on both sides, and each are responsible for chaos, riots, attacks, vandalism, and God knows shit things they did on even citizens having the modern Western approach. Yes, of course the politicians pull the strings, and their hands are dirty too, as they use this setting which even they know is wrong, but they want to use it to their advantage. We blamed the Britishers for divide and conquer when the Indian leaders are using the same method. This diverts the masses' attention from essential things. Not to mention there's further division and casteism in Hinduism too. The Dalits, Shudras, Brahmins, etc. So the government plays their part, we should play our part, that is with common sense and civic sense, which is second most factor. Cleanliness, sanitation, respect and care of public property. I'm not gonna say education, yes, that is a need too, but people having good education, they behave like lunatics and illiterate people. Sensible and civilized Indians, regardless of their caste, religion and identity, know about this and behave in well-disciplined manner. Their count is unfortunately very low in a population of 1.4 billion. So it's a big irony. If you want more deep cases about all the stuff wrong in India and the bluffs of the government, you should visit Kunal Kamra's channel and see it for yourself. If I'm wrong, do correct me, you'll re-edit this discussion. So that's all for today's contemporary things in the world discussion.